Hi, I am Suki Waterhouse. I have done many things throughout my career. I think I've been very lucky that I've been able to explore different mediums. I would describe myself, I suppose, as a musician and an actor. How you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, it's so good to see you. This place is gorgeous.
It's the best.
I'm gonna buy everything that you tell me to.
When we're on tour, you're always reading.
I think there's not that many girls doing what you do, really.
I think for me, it's can be hard to let people in on that stuff that I say like only in a private space. So it's kind of nice to have something where like, if you've written a song, you're kind of just making it for you. And then if you put it out, everybody's in on the secret.
I never would have thought that people would really actually listen to it. You sort of just make it out of a necessity. And I like to think that there's some kind of like magic and alchemy involved of like whatever it was that you were trying to express. Kind of, it does get moved off your chest and your life changes from the art that you've made. I think I'm actually really lucky that because I put out my first record when I was like 29, almost 30, so much time, years and years and years of making things that I didn't really like resonate with and I didn't put out, but it takes a long time to get to that point where you suddenly go like, oh, I enjoy sounding like this.
I think sometimes it's like the sense I was wanting a song, I was wanting to have written a song, not just like I wrote a song out of necessity, but like I was wanting to have another album. There's that Fiona Apple thing where she was like, making an album is like birthing a human. I don't know exactly how she said it, but that was my interpretation. Like, it takes so long, you have to do so much and get ready, and then like once it's in the world, there's like kind of nothing left.
There's that saying like, you've spent your whole life writing your first album. It was sort of like who I was. It was that well of experiences, and now I feel like that chapter has somewhat been closed. I feel like music was my first love. That was the path that I think I thought I was going to take very, very early on. And I grew up doing musical theatre and plays and like making songs in my bedroom. And then my life sort of like, it took quite a different path. But I never stopped doing music. It took me about like 10 years of trying things out and making a lot of mistakes. And it was this great thing for me because that was one part of my life that was private and I was kind of allowed to mess up and only release things that really kind of rung true to me. I wrote a song that I finally felt like was true enough to myself that I wanted to release, and that was a song called Brutally, and that really changed everything for me. That finally sharing something, it really turned an incredibly difficult heartbreak into something kind of magical and quite transformative. The moment when you actually put that song out, you take this kind of risk that something that resonated with you might not resonate with anyone else. And you know, now I'm out on tour, that's incredibly therapeutic actually, seeing that the song did something for someone else and isn't just part of my own tapestry of my life anymore, it becomes part of the tapestry of someone else's too. I did a TV show in the last couple of years called Daisy Jones and the Six, and in that show I play a keyboardist, and that was the same time that I was finishing my record. Learning piano has been so incredible for me. With any instrument, I feel like you can like evolve yourself. You can understand like the nuances in everything and in yourself just by like the touch of the keys and the way the notes work together and like hearing things brush up against each other, and you can understand tension and release, and it's so incredibly cathartic. So I'm very excited actually because my band, who we go on tour with, are here at the studio. The sun comes up, said you've done too much. He's got suggestions.
Some big kind of chorusy thing.
Yeah, that would be nice. Oh, that's mama.
Oh, you're
That's
song?
a new one, yeah.
That's
yeah.
fucking
It's good. It's a good one, isn't it? So how we met, we all met actually through Raj. I'd say like one of my first sessions in LA, and we made a song that day that ended up on the record. And in terms of like being in a writing session, it's kind of like speed dating. You were like up and
Acting
moving
like I was
around.
on speed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You were very like physical with it, and you know where the song's going, and then when it came to going on tour, you knew Michael and Amelia. I think you came, you came to one of my shows, which was definitely, that was the first show I'd ever done in LA. We have gone from playing our first show, and then we very quickly, we went on tour together. It was an incredibly intense thing to do, basically. It was a very bonding tour, and like, just insane it was, and how kind of out of our depth in a way we were.
I feel like we've really built a really good chemistry too on stage. It feels really good all the time. I feel like we're very good at feeding off each other.
All of us bring a very important piece to the band, like how we kind of like interact with each other.
10737411824.
And it goes on and on and on. You can see this vision of the journey of the willingness to be born through her into creation in order to blossom and bring forth the living library in a painted cave.
Wow.
Oh, and
This is just unbelievable.
this reoccurring motif of the arc is this idea that we've been sailing across forever to finally reach this moment. And that's why Dreamers Away. That's why music, that's why I said about what you do is so important.
It's like so much greater than like any kind of like legacy or anything that you could, like what you've made here is.
And I blame it on people like you and creative beings that said, you know what, at least here, let's grow something that inspires us. And I feel that we are all, in a way, trying to find each other. Because I feel like here it's a chamber of inspiration. It's meant to say you're more interesting than you think. And feel free to not have to figure it out, but to enjoy it like a garden. Because it begins on 9/11 when the towers in New York come down. And I begin on my knees, and I'm convinced that we don't understand it, but that we are the technology. There's an autoimmune story. You can't get out of the difficulty, but you can help add to the possibility that maybe, like oxygen, we can oxygenate the story. And I feel like that's what this is getting at, that over the last 21 years, it's been building a story that is trying to say, as community, as imaginative beings, it's a story that transforms who and what we think we are. And if we begin to see ourselves as the technology, really returning to a painted cave.
I found that actually, with making music, that was 100% what I think I was doing. I was trying to oxygenate a feeling that I just like hadn't been able to move away from for like a long period of time. Like it was stuck in some way, but it was also filled with stories, and you know, there was like so much life in that, but it needed to like move and transform. And I think that was like creating it and even releasing it, and having others, be able to listen to it and respond to it.
We are that technology that takes the difficulty and makes something that we try to share. In other words, that we might be feeling a deep sorrow, but we try to turn it into a song. We try to make it so it can be not about the thing itself, but transmute the thing. So I'm convinced this painted cave is to, again, like immersive theater, right? To reignite our curiosity.
My dream for the future is to still be able to go on tour. I love the change from the studio space and that kind of introspection to then the other part of this job being on a bus with a bunch of your friends and just being on this high adrenaline kind of like animalistic state, to still be inspired. I think more than anything, actually, it's not so much like career milestones, it's actually just to still be inspired, to want to write, to want to act, to really just be blessed with being around other like people that are better than me, that we can like have an electric experience together that is transformative. That's always my dream.